Hello everyone, welcome, and thank you for joining us today in this educational presentation. Now today I'd like to talk to you about the simplest way I personally know of to catch big intraday trends. Now if you've been following me and coming to my free webinars that I host on a weekly basis, you'll know that I mainly talk about daily bars, trading with daily bars, or even weekly bars, or investing. And very rarely do I go into intraday trading, but I really want to cover that today because there are some really amazing opportunities to take advantage of with intraday trading. Personally, I like to day trade myself. That's my background with the way I was brought up in trading on the floor of the exchange. But with this increased volatility, it will really help. For example, let's look at this picture right here. This is an example of the Dow. Now, this is coming into November, just this past week or so. Now, coming into November, there was a lot of increased momentum to the downside. So most traders were thinking, well, I guess we should either be short the markets or stay out of the markets completely. And then the first week of November, look what happened. We completely reversed and went straight up to the upside. So all of a sudden, where you were out of the market or thinking, wow, I should look at the market as a shorting opportunity, you have to switch gear and say, well, I guess now I'm supposed to be looking at the market as just going straight up. And that looked pretty certain up until the last few days, and now the market appears as if it may be going down again. Now, this is not just something you see in the indices. You can actually see this in individual stocks. For example, as we look at this recent chart of BAP, here's a daily chart of Credit Corp, okay, BAP. And let's say you were watching this stock last week and you say to yourself, well, you know what, this is more of a breakout opportunity. There's some resistance right here. I like to follow what the institutions are doing. So if they break out of this, then I'm going to step in and buy this. Let's say, for example, you go to some chat room or some trading room and they really like this, but they're waiting for the stock to break out of this resistance. So you're waiting, and then on the 9th, just Monday of this week, look what happens. It opens up, gaps up. You decide to step in and buy. Let's say maybe you bought the stock or perhaps you bought the options, and you're feeling pretty good about yourself. You've got a nice one-day profit. You say to yourself, wow, this is great. I'm so glad I followed that guy in the chat room and the trading room. They got me into a good stock here. And I think I'm going to make a lot of more money, maybe a couple more days of this, and then I'll get out with a really nice fat profit. And so the next day, maybe you go out for a walk or you relax, you stay away from the markets for a bit, and this happens, right? Look familiar? You've given away not only all your profits, but now you're in the loss column. Well, let's look at that same exact stock on an intraday basis. As we look at BAP, on a 5-minute chart, with the technique I'm going to be sharing with you today and teaching you today, you actually could have bought on the very first bar, the opening of the 9th, held on this entire time, and then when we got to this point right here, I'm going to show you how you could have exited with a nice 14-point gain and missed what happened the next day. Now on top of that, the next day, which was the 10th, I'm going to share with you, if you wanted to, how you could have sold and gone short and potentially made another 5 points at the downside. So nearly 20 points in a couple of days, simply by not holding the position overnight, by taking out a lot of that volatile risk out, and simply by taking advantage of this simple tool that I'm going to share with you today, how it could have really helped you capture these trends. Now, I know a lot of you say, well, gosh, I'm not really good at following all these technical things. It's really difficult for me. I'm more of a fundamental trader, or I just go to that chat room and they kind of tell me what to buy or sell. Well, we teach you everything, but on top of that, our PTS Primo charting platform actually identifies these intraday trends for you in advance. So this is the beauty of what I'm going to be teaching and sharing with you today that really makes intraday trading simple. So welcome once again. My name is Stephen Primo, president and founder of Specialist Trading. Now, the reason why we call it Specialist Trading is because I was a specialist on the floor of the Pacific Stock Exchange. I was on the trading floor for a total of 16 years, and 9 of those years I was a specialist. Now, specialist doesn't mean you're any more special than anyone else. It means that if you wanted to buy or sell a particular issue or equity in those days before electronic trading, you would call up your stockbroker. The stockbroker in turn would call up the floor trader or the floor broker, and he would walk up, take your order, and walk up to the trader who specialized in making markets in that particular stock. So I specialized in making markets in roughly about 50 or 60 stocks. One of them was IBM, another one was Waste Management or US Air. If you wanted to buy or sell those particular equities on the Pacific Stock Exchange, I made those markets. Now, I made markets during the crash of '87 and the bull market that followed. So as I've often stated, I've traded straight up markets, straight down markets in any system, any methodology, any technique that has been around or that you can think of, or maybe you just spent $10,000 for it, some brand new technique or some brand new system. It's most likely been around before. It's just been rebranded or renamed or altered or edited just a little bit, but pretty much everything has been traded and used before. And trust me, I've just about traded everything and anything you can think of. So in my 43 years of trading experience, I know what works in terms of consistency and I know what doesn't. Now, most traders spend a lot of hard-earned time and most especially hard-earned money searching for that holy grail. And you don't have to do that anymore because with specialized trading, we've found it for you. And you know what it is? It's sound fundamental education, because that's really what's going to sustain you. So our job at Specialist Trading, I teamed up with Pro Trader Strategies to develop the platform for you, is simply to provide traders around the world and in every state in the United States all of this fundamental education and things I've accumulated along the way in my 40 plus years of trading, so that you don't have to go searching and spend all that hard time and money waiting for this holy grail when it's really right here in front of you. We provide you with all the tips, techniques, and strategies that have shown to stand the test of time. And that's what we provide at Specialist Trading. You'll see that today in the attention to detail I given to teaching you this technique for intraday trading. Now, before we begin, we're first required by law to share this with you, so please take a moment to view our disclaimer. I'm going to show you a lot of performance results in a lot of different examples. Some of these examples are as recent as today using this day trading technique, but please remember that we can in no way guarantee that any of the results I'm about to share with you will be repeated in the future. Also, please remember that all examples are strictly for educational purposes only. Now, we have a good crowd here today. I know a lot of you have seen a lot of names here, a lot of faces that have joined us in the past, but we also have some new names here. Thank you for joining us today. If you'd like to get some more education on a daily basis, feel free to follow us on Twitter. There's our handle right there. So all of you new people that are new to my webinars, there's a lot of great free information I post on a daily basis, anywhere from little bits of financial wisdom to actual signals our strategies have generated or some of our techniques have signaled. So lots of great free education. Please feel free to follow us on Twitter. Now remember, we are a little bit different from other webinars you may have attended in the past. I know a lot of you that have seen me before have heard me say that, but for all of you new faces, if you've come here today thinking I'm going to tell you what I think the market's going to do, or if you've come here today thinking, well, Steve, what's the best stock to intraday trade? Or what's the best market to intraday trade? Or if you're coming here thinking I'm going to tell you what the best time frame is to intraday trade, you're really coming to the wrong place, because that's not what we do. In fact, that goes entirely against our philosophy. Our job as a mentor is not to trade for you. Our job is to simply provide you with this information, all the different variables, so that you can make your own trading decisions. You see, that's why most traders fail, is because you want someone to tell you, myself included, when I first started. So I don't want you to think that I'm above it all. I did the same thing. I wanted someone or some system to tell me what to buy or sell. And all I have to do is look at the arrows, right? That's all I have to do is punch up the buttons and it'll tell me and spit out buy and sell signals. And that's the way we're all taught, because someone else must know better than we do, right? Someone else must have more experience. Someone else must have a higher level of education. Someone else must know all the secrets. But I'm here to tell you that no one knows that. No one is better off than anyone else. What you have to learn how to do is follow the market. Listen to what the market's telling you, and then make your own decisions on how to trade that. Now, the beauty is, as I stated earlier, that's what we provide you with. We provide you with high probability setups for entering the market, whether you're intraday trading stocks or futures, whether you're trading Bitcoin, whether you're trading commodities. All of our methods and techniques can be applied to all these markets in either direction and in any time frame. So our job as an educator, as a mentor, is not to trade for you. It's not to force feed you signals, but it's simply to teach you how to trade with the specialist edge. The same edge that was taught to me when I was struggling some 4 decades ago and has sustained me, and hopefully it will be able to do the same for you. So this is an educational class today. I want you to ask me as many questions as possible, but once again, we're a little bit different from other webinars. Please ask the questions at the end. We have a lot of slides to share with you. I don't want to stop for every slide and take all of your Thursday afternoon. So if you have a question, write it down or simply wait till the end of class, probably in the next 20 minutes, and then we'll take all of your questions. The only question I will answer right now is the most common, and that is this being recorded? Yes, it is. We record all of our webinars. So if you have to leave early or if you're having technical issues, many times you log off and log back on again, your problems will be resolved. But if you're still having technical issues, you can't see or hear me clearly, we will send each and every one of you a link to this recording so you can watch it at your own leisure, all right? Once again, we have a good crowd here today. If you have any questions, please wait till the end. Okay, so let's begin, and I'd like to start off by what my mentors taught me, because this is really going to hit home today. This is the theme of today's presentation. So today's daily financial wisdom is this: great fortunes are made up of many small trades, repeated day in and day out. You see, most of us are looking, when we first start out, for that big, score, that big, gamble where we just have a jackpot, a huge winner, and we feel like, gosh, this is amazing. I made a month's work, worth of salary in one day of trading. And that's the lure. That's the carrot dangled in front of all traders to be able to do that. And sometimes that happens, okay? Every once in a while, you'll hit this tremendous winner, which is great. All right, no one's betting against that. You'd love to have that, but that's not something that you can predict. That's not something you can guarantee. Another way to get to the same point, another road to take to get to that same destination, is by day trading, is by having many small trades that make up on a consistent daily basis, because they will add up eventually to these great fortunes. So you can take your pick, but I would suggest to be able to trade both. Because you can trade daily bars or even weekly bars. You can be an investor, but it's always good to have another backup plan, because the market is always ebbing and flowing out of these different environments. How many times have you seen in the summer when the market just dries up and there's nothing to really invest in or to buy on a daily basis? You see the daily bars are just going sideways. Well, you may want to switch over into intraday trading, because if you go to a 1-minute chart or maybe a tick chart, you'll be able to rack up these small little trades that will eventually lead up to a nice month's worth of work, a nice month's of profits. Now, not guaranteed, but this is just another way to do it. So what is this way? How can we capture these small little profits, these little golden nuggets on a daily basis? Remember, they're not a lot. They're many small little trades, meaning they're not huge profits of 20, 30 points. It may be only 1 or 2 points, but they add up. If you made a point every day, at the end of the month, most likely it would be close to 20 points. Well, how would you like to have made 20 points in one day, right? It's the same thing. It's just applying the process in a different manner. All right, the way we're going to do that is by using probably our most popular tool now. It's the PTS XT, all right? You've heard me speak about it before, but I've spoken about it in different contexts, in trading weekly bars, in how to apply it for daily bars, for stocks, for currency pairs. We're going to talk about intraday trading with the PTS XT, something I've never covered before. Now, this indicator, if you're new to it, is designed to identify and to announce extreme trends in advance, because this is where you can really pick up those golden nuggets, by looking for those extreme trends. Remember, most traders lose. It doesn't matter how long you've been trading or how skilled you are, but if the market is going sideways in this whipsaw format, in this whipsaw action, most traders are going to fail. A lot of traders know to step aside and not to trade those markets. So you don't want to be involved, whether you're day trading or whether you're investing in a whipsaw sideways market. What you're looking for are those extreme trends, because that's where the real, chance for these nice profits are. The beauty of the PTS XT is that it's designed to identify and announce these extreme trends before they often take place. You'll see that in just a few moments. And remember, we're looking at intraday trading today. So we can announce these on a 5-minute bar, on a 1-minute bar, or even on a 30-minute bar. It makes no difference. Now, the PTS XT is based on multiple proprietary indicators. So we bundle them all up. And once we see their relationship to one another, this proprietary tool will either generate a block, it's a yellow block around the bar, or a red block around the bar. Now, this is different from coloring each bar. What it does is it makes a block around this section where there is an extreme trend taking place. So this is the beauty of it. It's a color bar tool, but it doesn't actually color each individual bars. It colors the area. It colors the area in which this extreme trend is taking place. Now, the last thing is that it's official. Once again, the PTS XT is our most popular trading tool to date. Why? because of its versatility. Remember, it can be applied to any market, and as you're going to see in just a few seconds, any time frame. Once again, this is the first time we've touched about day trading. We haven't touched on this subject before, and I'm going to show you, once again, the versatility of this tool, how you can apply it to intraday trading as well. Now, what I'm going to share with you today, remember, is just a technique for applying the PTS XT to intraday trading. It's not a system. It's not back-tested and researched. If you're new to my webinars, I have to tell you, we do not have statistics at Specialist Trading and Pro Trader Strategies because we are first and foremost an educational company. You see, we're teaching you how to trade. If we had statistics, that would mean we had some system that was back-tested 20, 30 years that had, you know, the worst case scenario drawdown, that had the win-loss ratios. And to tell you personally, I don't believe in that. Why? Because in my 43 years of trading, any system that I've ever traded, regardless of how well the statistics are, has eventually blown up. I mean, I have traded and I have even taught systematic behavior before, where research had shown going back 10, 20 years how a method or a system had phenomenal results, had just minor losses, small drawdowns, and just was generating 80% a year profit. And then guess what? Once the market environment changed, all of that went out the window. And each and every one of those systems gave everything back and eventually failed so much that it basically blew up. It lost all the profits it had made. So I don't put a lot of credence into statistics because I know that they work great until they stop working. So the only thing I have seen in my 40 plus years that actually works, that will sustain you, is when you make your own trading decisions. You have to be in charge of your own trading destiny. You have to make your decisions. So what we do is provide every one of our students, every one of our members with a basic format, and then you can decide how you want to enter, how you want to exit, how you want to place your stop. Now I know the first question you're saying is, but Steve, I'm new to trading. I don't know where to enter. I don't know where to exit. I don't know where to place my stop. That's the beauty of what we've developed here at Pro Trader Strategies and Specialist Trading. We have many different variables for entering, exiting, and stop placement. Excuse me, many different ways to trade, and we work with you and share them with you. For example, for the PTS XT, we have upwards of 7 different entries, 7 different stop placements, 7 different exit points, and you can decide which one makes you feel the most comfortable. So obviously, if you have all these different variables, almost like a little buffet of different choices to make for your meal, you can't go back and back test because everyone should and is required to trade differently. We don't want you to trade the same. No two traders should ever trade alike. And because of that, there are no statistics. We really stay away from that because it's really a crutch. Remember, I've been trading for 43 years now. Every system I have traded and taught eventually blew up, regardless of how good the statistics were. So that's why I personally do not put a lot of credence and a lot of validity in statistics. Okay, so let's talk about this technique I'm going to be sharing with you today. And remember, this is just one of the many different ways you can trade with the PTS XT. And we're going to apply this technique for intraday trading, okay? All right, so let's go through it. I want to share with you this kind of a mantra here. Here's the trading process for this intraday trading. All right, if you're going to be a buyer, for buys, what you want to do is apply the PTS XT, and you're going to buy on the first yellow colored block bar. Now, I know for the new students who aren't familiar with this, you're going to feel a little confused right now and say, what does that mean? Don't worry, I'm going to show you a lot of chart examples, and it'll make perfect sense in a few moments. If you're going to be selling, well, you're going to be selling on the first red colored block bar. Okay, so let me show you how this process works. Let's look back at that BAP chart. Once again, we're not going to be looking at the daily bars. We're looking at, in this case, a 5-minute time frame. Okay, so how could we have taken advantage of this? This was on the 9th. This was on Monday, I believe. First thing you want to do is on our platform, click on the PTS XT Extreme Trend. Okay, that's the PTS XT. You'll see the drop-down menu, all the different ways, variables in which to apply this. What we're going to be concerned about in this particular technique is the highlighted signal. That's the feature we're looking at. All right, so you're going to click on highlighted signal, and you'll see the block around the extreme uptrend zone. Do you see how the PTS XT captured that? Now, this is looking back in hindsight, but if you were following this on a 5-minute bar, all you would have to do is after the first 5 minutes, you see that this was colored yellow. There was a yellow block around this. So what you want to do is buy on the close of that bar. That's how simple it is. That's the first step in this process. Now, if we were watching a 5-minute bar or a 10-minute bar, and we see that it was outlined red, well, the minute the bar has concluded and we see a reddish block around it, that's where we're going to be selling at the close of that bar. It's very simple. I mean, remember, trading is really simple. It's the trader that makes it more complicated than it has to be. All right, that's step one of the process. We're going to either be buying or selling based on the block color, okay? That's the yellow colored block bar or the red colored block bar, because that's the tool, the proprietary tool, telling us that an extreme trend has just taken place. Step number two, how about stop placement? We have to protect ourselves because we know not every trade is going to be a winner. There are going to be some trades that go against us. That's okay, but we have to protect ourselves. So in this particular technique, remember, we have many different ways to enter, many different ways to place your stop, many different ways to exit. But in this particular technique, our stop placement is going to be placed either below if we're going long or above if we're going short, the last non-colored block bar. All right, so what does that mean? All right, so here's where we entered, right? And the bar was colored yellow. Now, looking forward, we see that all the colors were yellow. So what was the last non-colored block bar? What was this one right here, right? So that's where our initial stop is. Now, I know a lot of you would say, wow, Steve, that's pretty far away here. I can't take all that, risk. Well, that's the beauty of this technique. You know going in what your risk is going to be. So if you see that it's too far of a distance, then don't take the trade. You see, it's not like something that you have to figure out once you're in. You'll know right off the bat, a minute before the bar closes, well, wow, if I enter here, here's where my stop's going to be. That's a little bit too much for me. Or you may say, well, that's perfect. I can handle that. In fact, I may be able to buy 200 shares or maybe 300. It depends on the stop. But that's where your initial stop is. Now, in our courses, we teach you different ways once you're in the trade to raise your stop to different levels to track the trade. But just as an initial stop, that's where it'd be. Now, if we were going short, as we are right here in this example, our initial stop is at the bar, the previous non-colored block bar, and that would be here. So this is where your initial stop would be. Now, that's a fair distance away. Once again, someone would say, wow, that's a little bit too far for me. I can't handle all that risk. Well, then don't take the trade. Remember, this is the beauty of not trading a system. You see, in order to get statistics, in order to get the win-loss ratio, in order to get the worst-case scenario drawdown, you have to take every trade. You have to have that as a number in order to apply to your statistics. But see, this is the beauty of trading strategies. Strategies are about 70% rule-based and then 30% discretion. The discretion is your own judgment, your own insight as to whether you want to take that trade or not. So you can sit here and say, I'm not going to take this trade, too much risk. Well, great. That's why there's no statistics, because everyone would trade differently. Someone else could say, sure, I have a big enough account size, I'll take that. So there's never going to be any type of numbers, any type of statistics or win-loss ratios, because that would require everyone to trade the exact same way. And that goes entirely against our philosophy. Our philosophy is no two traders should ever trade alike. The beauty is we provide you with a ton of different ways to implement the trade so you can decide exactly how you'd like to trade. So we've entered into the trade, we've taken and placed our stop. Now where do we get out? All right, this takes us to step 3. We're going to exit on the first bar to close outside of the colored block. Okay, so all the entire time we've been in that block, as we see right here. We've been in this yellow block, and it's been going in our favor because it's identifying the extreme trend. And the first bar that exits out of this is where we're going to exit the trade. And have we done that, entered at the beginning of the day and exited towards the end, that's a nice 14 points we could have made. All right, you see how simple that is? You didn't have to hold money overnight if you didn't want to. You were in and out with 14 points. And remember, this is just one exit technique. There's nothing to stop you from saying, hey, listen, I've got a nice 5-point gain, I'm going to get out. You can do that. That's fine. Or you could track the trade all along, raise your stop with one of our techniques, and let the market take you out. Maybe you would have gotten out right here. There are a number of ways to trade this. I'm just sharing with you one technique. Now, in this example below, when I took this snapshot, on this was on Tuesday, I believe, the 10th. As we see here on the 10th, we would have entered, and by the time I took this snapshot, we hadn't exited the block yet. So you could have just exited whenever you wanted to and taken a quick 5-point gain. Either way, potentially you could have captured 14 points just trading with the PTS XT on a 5-minute time frame. Okay? So do you understand the process? We're going to enter on the very first colored block bar. If it's a yellow colored block bar, we're going to be buying. If it's a red one, we're going to be selling. We place our stop on the previous bar that wasn't colored, that wasn't in any block, okay? That's going to be our initial stop placement. That's just your initial. You can always change it as the trade unfolds. And using this exit technique, we'll simply exit on the first bar that leaves the block, okay? Here's the yellow block. Here's the first bar that left the colored block. And now you exit because the market is no longer in an extreme trend. Same thing down here. Now this one we decided to exit a little bit earlier because we hadn't waited for the block to unfold. Very simple, right? Let's look at some very recent PTS XT intraday examples. And all these examples, most of them took place within the last 2 or 3 days. In fact, they were all examples were taken from this week. The last couple of examples I'm going to be sharing with you happened today. I was scrambling like crazy to get some extra slides in here for you today, just to show you. You know, I often say this. I'll attend webinars myself to see what people are talking about and to see what they're touting. And so many times I'll see examples of they're showing some tremendous system that never fails, that has these amazing signals. And then I'll look at the date, and it was like 2 years ago, or like I saw one yesterday. I won't mention the name. It was a tremendous example, and it was in 2019. And I always say, how would anyone want to buy something? Because how do you know it's working now? You want to see as a trader, and I know because I'm coming from a trader's point of view, I want to see that this thing recently worked in the last couple of weeks or month. I don't want to see that it worked a year ago. That's too long ago for me. Sure, if I'm looking at monthly bars or weekly bars, sure, I'll go back a year. But if I'm looking at daily bars, I want to go back maybe at the most a couple of months. If I'm looking at intraday bars, I want to go back this last week to see how well it worked. So every example you're seeing today happened within the last 2 or 3 days. Some of them happened within the last 2 or 3 hours, okay? All right, remember, if you have questions, kindly wait till the end of class, and I'll get to all of them then. And remember, everything you're seeing today is taken from and displayed from our PTS Primo charting platform. I designed this platform with pro trader strategies with one goal in mind: to make trading simple. Trust me, when I was learning, it was very difficult for me because a lot of stuff just did not make sense. I remember traders talking to me when I was on the floor, trying to explain to me what the bid-ask meant and trying to explain to me, momentum and institutions and all these support and resistance techniques and all these different features. And it was very difficult for me because I didn't come from a background like that at all. I didn't have an economics or trading background. I didn't even know what a stock was when I first started trading. I had to learn everything from the ground up, and it was very difficult. These concepts were extremely difficult. So I don't want you to think that, oh, well, Steve, it's easy for you. You must have learned this coming from a stock background. I didn't know what stocks were. I didn't know anything. I just got a summer job on the floor of the stock exchange and fell in love with it, and everything turned around for me. So I designed this as a platform, as something I wish I would have had. Now, even though we didn't have platforms then, we didn't have the internet, we didn't have online courses, I wish I would have learned this exact same way, by someone explaining to me extremely simply so that I could really grasp these concepts. And that's the whole format of our platform. Everything is one click away. It's all pre-formatted. There's nothing you need to do except apply all of the different techniques that we've taught you, and you can decide for yourself how you want to trade, okay? This is the educational platform that actually identifies these intraday trends in advance. All right, so let's go through that process I just shared with you and taught you a few seconds ago, all right? Let's look at this 5-minute chart of Facebook. This happened on the 10th. I believe the 10th was, that was just Tuesday, right? A couple of days ago. All right, now obviously, we're kind of going sideways here on this 5-minute time frame, but we had a really nice run up here at the beginning of the day. Actually, you know, this was the 11th, so this was actually yesterday, okay? So as we look at this, this is what we wish we could have captured, right? Remember, we want to stay out of these sideways markets, but we want to be capturing the strong trends. Well, the first thing you do on our platform, click on PTS XT Extreme Trend, In the drop-down menu, we're going to be clicking on the highlighted signal. This is the feature we're going to be using for this. And look what happened. We had a yellow colored bar right at the beginning of the day. All you had to do was buy at the close of this bar. So let's go through the mantra we were talking about. This is how you can learn this. Buy, stop, sell. Okay? That's 2.5 points in 1 hour. Just simply by using that, the format we taught you. Buy, stop placement, sell or exit. It's simple. Okay? There's nothing you have to figure out and say, well, you know what, Steve, the earnings are coming out, so I better catch up and see what the estimates are going to be. Or you know, Steve, that announcement's going to come out about the jobless claims. Maybe we should wait. There's no reason to follow those things if you don't want to. I stopped looking at those things 4 decades ago. And if I'm still here, then you should be able to follow it. Now, if you want to follow those things, by all means, go ahead. But there's absolutely no requirement that says you have to follow what the institutions or what the volume settings are or what the earnings are or what the jobless claims are. It makes no difference. Okay? Remember, buy, stop, exit. Let's look at this example in Tesla. All right, this is going back to the 9th, coming into the 10th, Monday and Tuesday. Obviously, we would have loved to on the 9th take advantage of this nice little up move. But then once the trend changed, we don't want to keep buying the way other traders would. There's no way you would have made any money trying to pick a bottom here. What we want to do is take advantage of these extreme downward moves. So how could we have done that? Click on the PTS XT. In the drop-down menu, click on highlighted signal. And we can see exactly where these extreme trends were on a 5-minute chart of Tesla. Okay? Now, obviously on this one, we go through the mantra again. We go buy, stop, exit. And that was a quick 12 points, roughly in about 2 or 3 hours. Okay? Now, we had a number, many times you'll have these small little intraday blocks. Okay? So you do the same process if you like, or I should say in this case, now you sell, stop, exit. And so if we added up all these different blocks that we could have traded in, that's 24 points. Okay, now obviously this one ended at the end of the 9th, so if you didn't want to carry a position overnight, you could have exited and gotten back in on the morning of the 10th and exited here. You would have potentially captured anywhere from 15 to 24 points. Okay, but either way, that's a good 30 or so points that you could have captured. All right, possibly 35 to even more if you wanted, just using this simple technique: buy, sell, stop, exit. All right, let's look at a 3-minute chart of Microsoft. Now, this was on the 11th, which was a couple of days ago. Or actually, no, that was yesterday. Boy, I'm losing track here of the date. That was, I believe, yesterday. How could this have taken place if we captured this nice up move right here, starting on the 11th? Well, apply the block, okay? And we see here on the very opening bar of this 3-minute time frame, we buy, stop, exit. 3 points in 1 hour, the first hour of the day, okay? Remember, these golden nuggets, these fortunes are made up of many small trades taken day in and day out. So we're not looking to capture 50, 60 points the way it might happen if you bought something and then an announcement happened that overnight. We're looking for these golden nuggets. So if you make 2 or 3 points a day, all right, just looking at that, that's comparable to, it could be anywhere from 30 to 40 points at the end of the month. So that still gets you to the same place you would have liked to have been. All right, here's a 1-minute chart of BABA, okay, Alibaba Group. How could we have taken advantage of this really nice downward move? This was starting on the 10th, okay, or somewhere in the 10th. Well, look at the blocks that highlighted these strong extreme downtrends on a 1-minute time frame. So once this bar closed, you sell. Same here, same here. So we sell, place our stop, exit. Putting all these together, that's 3 points in 30 minutes once again. Let's look at Shop, okay, Shopify. This is a 5-minute chart. This happened yesterday as well, okay? A nice gap up, and then it continued going higher. How could we have taken advantage of this? Let's apply the PTS XT Extreme Trend. In the drop-down menu, we click on Highlighted Signals. On the very first highlighted bar on this 5-minute time frame, you buy. On the previous non-colored block bar right here, place your stop. And if you wanted to use this technique to exit, on the very first bar out of the block, you exit. That's 20 points in 1 hour. Okay? Not a bad little trade, right? Now, these all happened within the last couple of days. Let's see what happened this morning. Here's an example in PDD. Okay, this happened this morning. And as we can see, we applied the same process on this 1-minute time frame. Buy, stop, exit. That's 3 points in 20 minutes. All right. That was roughly about 7 a.m. Pacific time this morning. Same process we do here, right on the opening in NOC. This was in Northrop. Okay. The stock gapped down and then closed towards the high of this 3-minute bar. You would have sold right there on the close of that bar. Place your stop on the previous non-colored bar, and you could have exited in 1 hour with a 2.5 point gain. Okay. Now, obviously, you could exit whenever you'd like. If you wanted to exit after a point, you could have done that. But this is just this technique to make it simple for you. How about an entirely different time frame, an entirely different market? Let's look at the British pound. This is a 3-minute chart of the British pound. Okay. Coming into today, here was our first red-colored block bar. Closed towards the high of the day and went even higher. But that's okay. You would have sold and placed your stop right here. Never went above there, even though it continued to bounce. It stayed in the block, and then it finally kicked in. And in 2 hours today, that was 35 pips. That's roughly 350 bucks. All right, not a bad little trade. Trading 1 unit if you wanted. How about the E-mini? Here's a 1-minute chart of the E-mini futures. This was this morning, roughly about 7 o'clock. In 15 minutes, you could have made 4 points or $200. This is just trading 1 unit, 1 contract. All right, same process. At the close of this 1 minute, you saw it was a yellow-colored block bar. You could have bought right at the close. Place your stop, the previous non-colored bar, and you could have exited anytime you wanted to, but if using this technique, you would have exited right here, the first bar out of the block. That's 4 points in 15 minutes, or $200. Once again, this process can be applied any market, any time frame, in any direction. You really see how simple it is to intraday trade with the PTS XT. Now let's review. Remember, once again, if you're buying, you buy on the first yellow-colored block bar, regardless of time frame. If you're selling, you sell on the first red-colored block bar. All right, this is just one of the ways in which to enter. If you decide to use this technique, you place your stop either below if you're long or above if you're going short the last non-colored bar. All right, that's usually the last bar right before the block. So you just know right off the bat how much you're going to be risking at all. Now, if you decide to use this exit technique, remember, you can always get out whenever you'd like, but if you want to try and get as much bang for your buck, many times it really helps. Well, then you'll simply exit on the first bar to close outside of the colored block. We just showed you examples from this week that probably out of all those little golden nuggets, 2 points here, 3 points here, 1 point here, would have added up this past 3 days to over 20, maybe close to 30 points. Now, as my mentors taught me, the theme of today, great fortunes are made up of many small trades repeated day in and day out. So whether you're looking for that jackpot, that stock that opens up 20 points, and then you kind of sit the rest of the month and give half of it back and then trying to get into another one, and maybe by the end of the week or the end of the month, you've maybe only held on to 5 points. Well, if you use intraday trading with this and try to capture 1, 2, 3 points a day, you'll get to the same place you did with that jackpot. So this is the difference with intraday trading. And remember, with this volatility, you're seeing how the market is getting tremendously volatile. A lot of it is going with a lot of news with COVID, a lot of it with the election. It's extremely dangerous to hold a position overnight sometimes. This can make up for that by making changes and by trading with the PTS XT and taking advantage of these many small trades. In terms of taking advantage, well, take advantage of day trading with the PTS XT Extreme Trend. This is what will really help you capture those intraday trading advantages. Okay, let me tell you about an end of year special offer we have for all of you, because we're just about towards the end of the year. We only got about a month and a half left. We're going to offer you a great way to trade with the PTS XT, whether you want to intraday trade, whether you want to trade it for daily bars, whether you want to apply it for Bitcoin, whether you want to apply it for stocks, futures, currency pairs, makes no difference. This generates these high probability zones. You can apply it to any market or time frame, and you can apply this, you can trade this with your current strategy. Let's say you have a strategy, but it's just doing so-so. Well, if you only took the signals when you were in an up block or a down block, we strongly feel you would increase your odds for consistency tremendously. So this is just a great tool. There's so many different ways and features in which to apply it. It's so versatile. That's why it's our most popular package to date. And as you just saw, it's also great for day trading. Now, all the displays you saw today were featured using the PTS Primo charting platform. That's with the PTS XT. Everything is one click away. It's the educational platform that identifies these extreme trends in advance. So what we're going to be doing is, for all of our new customers, you're going to receive a free year, a full 12 months of the platform absolutely free. Okay? This is the beauty of this, because along with this, you're going to get all these other features on the platform. 40 years, over 4 decades of different tools, techniques, and methods that I've accumulated on the way, all at your access, one click away. All right, you'll have our enhanced buy-sell line. Along with the PTS XT, you'll have the buy-sell line, which is the feature for the overall trend. 4 different ways to find out what the overall trend is. Our strength of trend tool, a tool that determines if a trend is about running out of gas or not. You could use this for exiting or getting into a trend, all right? Auto-generated exit levels, so this is another way to get out of a trade. Over 90 of the most prominent technical indicators, personalized tech support, but I think the best thing about this is our signal scan. You can scan for intraday setups. You can scan for overnight. You come home from work and scan to see when a PTS XT signal has been generated. And we provide you with the data for stocks, futures, currency pairs, indices, ETFs, different markets such as overseas markets, Asian markets, European markets, Canadian markets. It's all provided, comes with your 12 months of the platform. All right, so let's break down this end of year special, okay, before we go into question and answer period. Normally, since this is our most popular tool and since it's the most powerful tool we have now, the PTS XT, the Extreme 10 tool would regularly cost you close to $5,000. We're going to give you a great offer today. We're going to give you the option to purchase this for a one-time payment of $497 and then just a small payment of $97 per month. Remember, that comes with a full year of the platform. So for $497, less than $500, you can be up and running as early as today and just establish a small $97 a month payment. Now, if you're ready to say, listen, I don't care about a monthly payment, I just want this, I need this right now. Well, normally we said it's close to $5,000. We're going to discount it down 10% down to $44.95. You're going to save $500 if you want to pay in full. And that will still come with a full year of the platform for free. So new customers will receive 1 year free platform. This is a great way to take your trading to the next level. Take your trading to the next level with the new PTS XT Extreme Trend Indicator. Whether you're a day trader, whether you're trading futures, whether you trade currency pairs, Bitcoin, commodities, or stocks, you can apply the PTS XT to any time frame in any direction. Here's how to take advantage of this. Contact Pro Trader Strategies. They developed the platform with me. They're in charge of all the pricing and discounts. If you have any question about the pricing or would like to establish that payment plan with them and you'd like to do it over the phone, I would suggest calling them directly at 310-598-6677. They have trading consultants manning the phones right now. They'd be happy to take your order or answer any question concerning the pricing or the discounts or the tech support. Let's say you want to stick with your current platform, such as TradeStation, Metastock, Thinkorswim, NinjaTrader. They'll be able to answer your questions as well to be able to apply the PTS XT, okay? Now that link you see at the very bottom is the link that will take you to the information page as well as the sign-up page if you'd like to sign up online. Now, that's not a live link, but they have just posted a live link on the chat box. If you go to the chat box on the Go to Webinar column in the far right, you'll see there's a link that's been posted there. Just you can click that on and it will automatically take you to that sign-up page. Now, as I promised, I would reserve the last portion for your questions. So once again, remember, if you have any questions concerning tech support, concerning platforms, probably better to contact Pro Trader Strategies. They would be able better to answer them. If you have questions concerning trading, concerning the technique I just shared with you, please feel free to ask me right now. Does it work on Ninja or MT4? Yes, I know definitely for Ninja. I believe MT4 as well. But to get a better answer, once again, I would just contact Pro Trader Strategies. Remember, there's absolutely no obligation. They have trading consultants on the phone ready to answer any question you have. They're in no way trying to sell you anything. They're there to help you. So anything concerning data feeds or platforms, please feel free to call them. They'd be there happily to answer your questions, okay? Someone's asking me, does this work on commodities? Yes, it does. You know, in past presentations, I have shown a number of examples with commodities such as crude oil, as well as soybeans, because, and I think the reason why this person is asking this is because many times when we have a very difficult or, you know, down markets or just, you know, markets that have a lot of volatility, people want to trade something with a little bit more validity to them. Until, in other words, they're more viable, like they're real, they're concrete, as opposed to just a concept like a stock. So if you actually want to actually buy the soybeans, or if you want to buy the actual gold, a lot of traders like to trade commodities. And you can apply this to commodities as well, intraday trading of commodities or daily bars. It makes no difference, or weekly bars. So yes, we also have students that apply this to Bitcoin. They apply it to currency pairs. So it can be applied to those markets as well. Someone's asking me if I can look at a certain stock. Unfortunately, this is a static presentation right now on a PowerPoint presentation. I don't have access to the live charts right now, but trust me, once you sign up for this offer, you'll be able to see all these things right there on your screen. And remember, the beauty of the platform is we specifically designed it to make it simple. Everything is one click away. There's no format you have to change. There's nothing you have to alter. As I showed you, you'll click on PTS XT. In the drop-down menu, click on highlighted signal, and you'll see it right there on your screen. So that's the beauty of it. Question, how will it show when the trend starts? Will the first bar be yellow? Yes. In other words, what will happen, you know what, maybe I better backtrack just to show you, okay? Excuse me, I don't usually do this, but this will explain it a little better if I go back here just to show you this. Okay, just looking at this E-mini chart, okay? Now, if you were watching this, once this bar, it didn't even have to conclude. While the bar is intraday bar, if it's meeting the requirements of the proprietary indicators in a relationship to one another, most likely somewhere when the bar was trading around these levels, it would start, you'd start to see this yellow hue or yellow block around that bar. Okay, that is your signal that most likely a strong uptrend is about to begin. Okay, now to be more conservative, you wait for the bar to close, because what if the bar was doing great and then in the last 10 seconds it all of a sudden sold off? Well, then most likely that yellow block would no longer be there. But if it closed and met all the requirements, then you would simply buy at the close of that bar. Then as it unfolds, either it will continue to stay in this block, or you will see that the block ends and you continue to have these generic bars. Okay, now sometimes you'll go for a couple of bars and it'll conclude. Sometimes you'll go for days being in a yellow block on the upside. Sometimes it'll be 1 or 2 bars and that'll be it. That's why it's the beauty of this, is that when you get in on the first bar, that has the highest potential to capture the largest gain, because if it works, you're getting in at the beginning. If it doesn't work, well, most likely you get out unchanged or with a small loss. So that's the beauty of this. You're getting in at the beginning of a strong trend, and if it works out, it's before anyone even knows that a strong trend is about to begin, either to the upside or to the downside. Okay, let me just fast forward, excuse me, back up to the questions and answer portion right there. Okay, so that's the beauty. What frequency bars are best, the 1 minute or the 5 minute? Well, once again, this goes back to the very first thing I addressed in the opening statements. We're always looking at traders for someone to tell us what the best time frame is. Remember, I said at the beginning of the presentation, we're always saying, can you tell me what time frame to trade? Or if you think that I'm going to tell you what the best time frame is, you've come to the wrong place, because remember, that's for you to decide. We have members who use this and swear that it works the best in a 10-minute time frame. We also have members that use this and say, no, the best time frame is a 1-minute time frame. So which one is right and which one is wrong? Well, neither, because they're both trading according to their own means. Let's say the person who trades the 10-minute time frame only likes to trade once a day, okay? Well, the 10-minute time frame then is perfect for him, because maybe you'll only get one signal and then you'll be out by the end of the day. Let's say the person who trades a 1-minute time frame likes to trade 20 times a day. Well, that's why the 1 minute is perfect for him, because that will generate a lot more signals, because you'll get a lot more bars with a 1-minute time frame. So you see, there is no one best time frame or one best stock to trade. You have to determine what works best for you. That's how you become a consistent trader, okay? Any way of taking advantage of overnight gaps up and down? That's a good question. Well, see, remember, you can stay in the trade if you want to. I mean, but the whole point of this presentation was to shelter yourself from that volatility. So if you feel the markets are too volatile for you, you may want to exit. And if you open up the next day, you know, even though you close, like let's say with a yellow block, well, the market is still saying that most likely you're going to continue that trend the next day. So, you know, you have that edge behind you, but it's not guaranteed, because we all know that anything can happen overnight. So it's up to you. What a lot of traders like to do is they'll exit their position at the end of the day. And if the market opens up relatively around the same price at close, they'll reestablish their position and get back in, okay? As long as you have that block there in the opening bars. So it's completely up to you. Remember, it's up to you to make your own decision. Someone's asking, what's in the black box? Well, remember, it's not a black box. It's more of an algorithm. And the reason why we do that is not so much to keep it secret from you. It's difficult to figure out. This is something it's more of a calculation, like the PET D, and you would have to calculate it on almost a tick by tick time frame, and it would be very difficult. And most likely, if you're intraday trading, you wouldn't be able to enter before you did the calculation. So we've made it simple and just have it there as a color block bar algorithm for you. So that's what makes it simple. And trust me, the secret of this is not in the formula. The secret is knowing how to apply it, which is one of the ways I just taught you today. Because even if we told you exactly all the different indicators that are coming together in their relationship, and if even you knew the answer and had to cumbersomely apply it, and formulate it, most likely you'd still lose money, because you wouldn't know how to apply it properly. That's our job as educators, okay? We want to teach you how to apply it properly. That's really the secret to this. Not in what the formula is, but in how to apply it properly. That's where you become a consistent trader, okay? Let's see. How much is this? Well, remember, this great offer we're having, if you want to purchase it, one-time only fee, it's $44.95, 10% discount. You're going to save $500. But if you want to just purchase it right now for this special end-of-year offer, it's $497, a one-time payment, and then just $97 per month. And remember, that comes with 1 full year of the platform. So you're going to get all these things along with all these different features on the platform. It's just an amazing, amazing offer. We're offering it at the end, okay? So this is really a great way to take your trading to the next level. You can use it independently. I mean, that's the way I use it independently. I use it independently by looking at my signals and just getting a fair idea of how to apply it. I mean, and then I enter my orders on the platform, because you can't, there's no order entry based on our platform. It's simply an educational tool. So I'll look at this to find out what the setups are, and then I'll simply enter my orders on another platform. It's that simple. And that's what most traders do as well, okay? Doesn't work on stocks? Yes, it does. In fact, most of the examples I showed you today showed you with stocks, okay? Yes, forex. I showed you an example with the forex. If you want me to go back, I'll do that one more time. Here was an example with a 4-hour chart in the British pound. This was today, okay? This was this morning today. Here was the first block around this bar on a 3-minute time frame. You could have sold right here, okay? Roughly 4 a.m. Pacific time, 7 a.m. Back east. I don't know what or in the Europe time was, but you could have sold right here, placed your stop in the format which we shared with you today, and then exited roughly in about 2 hours later and made 35 pips. There was nothing you had to do other than just use that technique. That's simple. 35 pips per unit, that's $350 roughly. Okay? That's how simple this is. It really is not that difficult. And so that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to take the hard work out of it for you to show you how simple trading can be. And then all you have to do is just simply follow the plan. Okay? Now, if you're going to be trading options, remember, options are different. Our job as educators is to reveal and teach you these high probability techniques. Now, how you decide to enter, whether it's buying the stock, buying the future, buying the currency pair, selling the future, buying options, selling options, having a spread, that's entirely up to you. We're not here to tell you, okay, you've got to only trade this using this certain type of spread with options. Remember, that's you. We're not an option course. We're not an E-mini only course. We're not a stock only course. We're teaching you these high probability points for entry and for exiting and for stop placement. How you decide to trade is your decision. In other words, let's say you wanted to learn how to ski, all right? Now, I can teach you how to ski, but which skis you want to buy, whatever make you want to buy, that's entirely up to you. I'm not going to share with you and say, well, this is the only make you have to buy, because we're not affiliated with any other way of trading. It's your choice. Or if you want to learn how to golf, all right? Let's say I knew how to play golf. I could teach you how to play golf, but I'm not going to tell you you must buy these particular set of golf clubs. That's your choice. And it's the same way with trading. I can teach you what these high probability setups are, but how you decide to enter or exit and whatever vehicle you want to trade is entirely up to you. Okay? So, we basically are sharing with you high probability ways to trade. Okay. How long does the 99 per month portion, does it work with futures, minis, and micros? Yes, it does. I can't tell you how long that 99 per month is. Once again, anything with pricing or with tech support or with data feeds, I would contact Pro Trader Strategies. So once again, let me go fast forward. That's why I don't like to do this very that much, because I lose my place here. Here's the information. Okay. If you have questions concerning data feeds, concerning pricing, please, there's absolutely no obligation. Contact Pro Trader Strategies. They would be more than happy to answer your question. They're not going to sell you anything if you're not interested. They'll just simply tell you exactly what is offered and what the offer is. And remember, this price most likely will go up at least 10% higher starting in 2021. But as I stated, this is our most popular and most powerful tool we have. Our most powerful package, because you can apply it to day trading, to overnight trading, to stocks, futures, currency pairs, commodities, Bitcoin. It makes absolutely no difference. That's how powerful the PTS XT is. That's why it's our most popular trading package, because so many students are really elevating their trading with it. So take advantage of this. Contact Pro Trader Strategies. Remember, they're there to help you. You're not going to have to be forced into buying anything. They'll answer any question you have concerning pricing, or exactly what the data feed is, or the platform you can use it with, okay? As we close here, I just want to say thanks for taking time out of your Thursday. I hope you learned something. I hope you saw the ease and the simplicity in how you can trade with the PTS XT. I use it in my own personal trading. And really, if you want to take your trading to the next level, if you want to start out 2021 in the right direction, take advantage of this really great offer, the inexpensive offer. Remember, most likely that offer will be gone. Not only by next year, but most likely in the next week or so. And next year, definitely the price will be a good 10 to possibly 20% higher off that $5,000 charge. Okay, so maybe it'll be closer to $6,000. Take advantage of this if you really want to start out 2021 in the right direction. As we take one last look at our disclaimer, I just want to say thanks for taking time out of your Thursday. I hope you learned something. I hope you saw how simple it is to trade with the PTS XT. But most especially, I look forward to all of you becoming students of mine in the course and in the great offer we share with you today. Have a great day. Hope to see you in class. Bye-bye.